But we have an Ender 3 Pro. First thing I want to check, is the audio okay? It is different to how I would normally do the audio, so if it's okay, let me know. So yes, it's been probably like a year since I did a live stream. I think the last time I said I was going to do a live stream, in fact it was probably the first Ender 3 was the last live stream I did. I was like, I'm going to do more live streams from now on, I really enjoy them, and then just did nothing for ages. So apologies for those that enjoy the live streams, but it just didn't happen. Good, everything's working well. Welcome everyone to the live stream. Welcome people that haven't been on before. I think the channel has grown quite a bit since I last did a live stream. I was probably less than 2,000 subscribers last time I did a live stream, I think. And now we're just over 6,200, so there's potentially 4,000 new people around. Not that I'm expecting 4,000 people to watch on a live stream. But welcome to anyone who's not been here before. So yes, this is the Ender 3 Pro. It should be very similar to the Ender 3, but with some differences. So as far as I know, the main differences are the power supply is a proper high quality power supply, the bed is removable, and I think there's one other thing that I can't remember. Oh yeah, the carriage for the bed is slightly different. Right. Where do we start? I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, but it's not the easiest thing to do. So we've got some assembly instructions, power cable for Europe, power cable for UK. Not necessarily need those immediately. Everything's always so difficult to get out. Ooh, that's super thin. That's quite nice. It's sort of similar to the last one, but kind of it's like the same box, but it's half the thickness. High quality power supply. I wonder if it actually is, or they just like took the design and put Meanwhile on the side of it. We've got some filaments, some of the extra parts, some screws and tool. Don't think I'm going to be using the actual tools. I'll use my own because I think I used the original ones last time just to get the experience that everyone else would get, blah 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 blah, but yeah, I'm just going to use whatever makes it easiest. That's the thing. Bed's coming off already, so the screen does come out this way. Or does it go the other way? So that's the screen. Extrusion 1 or 4? 2. Well, on all accounts. By the way, this foam is really good for sound dampening. Although it is flammable, so that's kind of a downside. I actually use it under my Ender 3, you can see just there. You can probably see some poking out the back. That is the foam that came with the box. And because it's fairly loud printer, it's actually quite nice to have that. The kind of semi-assembled X and extruder. There's some decent differences on the extruder I'm seeing immediately. So that's nice. Be interesting to see if they did any kind of downgrades at the same time as the upgrades, just to kind of counteract that cost. I know this one is more expensive, but wow, that's just okay. So the plan today is to build everything, to build everything all together and do a bit of a comparison. Oh, that wasn't pre-assembled partly before. A bit of a comparison between the two in terms of any different parts that I notice. And then I've got a calicat print set up on the Ender 3. So I'll put them both on the camera side by side and we'll try and launch a print at the same time and see which fails first. Running out of space already. Need to get this box out of the way. Still doing that. So that is the lead screw in a heat shrink sleeve to prevent grease going everywhere. That's some pretty decent packaging. It is packaged slightly differently to last time. Before it was kind of in layers, and now it's all clearly spread across like one layer. Right. Huh. Some printed feet in TPU does sound quite a good idea. I've not actually printed in TPU yet. I have some to do, but I haven't used it yet. So that's probably, yeah, that's probably quite a good place to start, isn't it? This is the new version. So this is the Ender 3 Pro. So it's basically the same as the last one, but not. Slight wobble in the base. Seems to be a cap. Oh no, that's the screen, isn't it? That is different. That is different. Right, I'm just pointing stuff out that you can't see at the moment. Oh, I missed a thing. It's a stabby knife. I mean, a palette knife. Is it a palette knife? It's a scraper. Anyway. Right. Instructions and cutty things. Right. So the reason I decided to get the Ender 3 Pro is that fairly recently I've been doing a bit of printing for customers to try and earn a bit of money for the channel, and in general the Ender 3 has been just as reliable, if not more reliable, in terms of print quality and prints coming off the bed than the Mark 3. So equal or if not better, and obviously this is massively cheaper. So I thought, quite impressive, I'm going to get the Ender 3 Pro. So it was also on offer on Amazon, so you know, that helped. So yeah, this is not from anyone that's gonna, any affiliate link or anything like that. Literally just me deciding to buy a printer. I should probably look at some instructions before I just cut all the things, but kind of semi-tempted to try and do it from memory. I mean, it is right there. It's not exactly a memory challenge, but it would be quite interesting to see if I could just guess how it all goes together. Today's video is sponsored by Aperture Laboratories. It's a new camera, by the way. Well, new since I did a live stream. It's a Logitech Brio, which is a 4K camera, although I'm streaming in 1080p, so you're not going to get the most benefit, but it downscales presumably quite nicely, so hopefully it looks a bit better than this. So the other camera angle we have is a close-up, which is the old Logitech C920, which is a fairly decent 1080p camera. Let's go back to wide for now, till I'm actually doing something. Instructions are for dummies. Dummies or people that don't want to ruin stuff that they buy. I mean, there's a, there's a fine line. Right, let's just continue trying to unwrap this stuff. Where are the instructions? Somewhere here. I hate this kind of plastic film wrapping because it seems to be that kind of stuff that's designed to not cut from a knife. I also don't want to scratch up all the aluminium. Two more extrusions. Oh dear. forgotten doing a live stream just how warm it is sitting under the lights. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm just going to open a window. Improvisation is the mother of... I think improvisation in terms of building stuff is best utilised, oh that's different, when you have no other option, where there are no instructions, something's broken and you need a solution kind of now. Then if you have the ingenuity to just arrange something that happens to work, perfect. Oh my goodness, we have everyone here today. Right, these are all the parts. They have still labelled them, which is nice. That was one of the good things I thought about the original Ender 3, is that they actually labelled all the bags with what they are. Because, I mean, some people will know just by looking at screws exactly what they are, how long they are, and that sort of stuff. But many people won't, so it's nice that they're all kind of labelled to show you what is what. Right, let's find the instructions. Let's actually make some progress. I tried to find the instructions online, but I couldn't find... Ah! Don't you just love when bags are not quite big enough? So I've got the old instructions, so I guess I can use this to compare the two things as well. I mean, instructions are actually different. The kit list is different, I think. Or am I just being blind? That is there, 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 that is there. No, it's basically the same. The only difference is the power supply looks slightly different, so the picture looks slightly different. I'm actually kind of surprised that they actually bothered to change it on the instructions. It's like, Chinese company, quality is never the highest priority, yet they've changed the image of the power supply on the picture. Presumably all these pictures out of CAD, they look like they are, so. Right, step one, I need some space. Screws 16 and 15. So we've got, so starting by doing the uprights, same as before, which are these two 20 by 40 sections. One of them, so the holes was differently arranged. So we've got that one is, this is where it gets a bit confusing. Got to get things around the right way because this picture is not the most obvious thing to watch. Right. It's actually not a very big desk for trying to build a printer on, although it probably looks quite big on camera. It feels small when trying to build a printer. It's nice to have loads of space, and that does not exist here. That feels... It's kind of a lump just there, but yeah, not the end of the world. So, oh yes, we got to go right up through the bottom. So this is this side, and this is that side, like that. This is the same, both sides, so that doesn't matter. That's on there. Okay. So now I need the M5 by 45 screws, which I think happens to be the ones that I did show on camera. Right, so we've got to, let's switch you here. It's a bit dark, isn't it, but I think it'll be alright. see if I can do this without breaking anything. Just a bit where, ooh, the feet look different. Yeah, the feet are definitely different. The feet are like 2 or 3 times the thickness. They're kind of fairly dense rubber. So this is just a kind of spring washer, split washer. I've forgotten what you call them. So that goes up through the bottom, screws in. Oh, look at that, I am off screen. I've not organised my tools very well because I don't actually have Allen keys to hand. I'm going to be back in another 2 seconds. I need to grab some tools. So we have a drill which will hopefully make this whole process nice and easy. Brilliant. Didn't really check how square it is. That feels right. That's and other side. So the differences. Oh, hello. There are quite a lot of differences actually. I'm already noticing quite a few. I mean, they've obviously only marketed the major ones, but I mean, maybe they did a lot of these differences on the Ender 3s that are not the Pro Edition, but after my version. So they did do loads of different versions of the Ender 3 where they were just literally, as soon as they saw a review, they made a change to their production process or whatever. And so they had loads of different versions available. So it might be that a lot of what I'm seeing is just the difference between the latest version of the Ender 3 and the Ender 3 Pro. But if you're comparing back to my original Ender 3, there are lots of differences. So yeah, that's that. It's amazing how quickly a structure comes together. It starts to look like a printer after putting 2 screws in. 4 screws. Step 1, step 2. Got washers left over from that. I guess that's better than not having the washers that I do need. M5x8 for the power supply and those. No, that's the wrong size. So where are we putting this? The screen. probably try and do this so you can see. I'm sure that'll be alright. Let's go close up. Yes. It's pretty solid. I mean, yeah, they are pretty solid printers. I think you would have trouble. Personally, I think the CR10 looks a bit wobbly. I do need to sort these sides. That's different as well. There's so many differences. I'm gonna, before I go any further. Oh my god, can't get the thing out the end. So I'm just going to point out the differences. So on this side, so where this connects to the edge here, on this one there's 4 screws, so 1, 2, 3, 4. On the original there's just 2 in a diagonal, so there's that. As with the original, it comes slightly wobbly, so I'm just undoing one side, letting it settle, and then I'll tighten it back up, and that should keep it. That should keep it flat. Lovely jubbly. So let's go back to this. So I think I started to answer the question but didn't finish it. The main differences between the Pro and non-Pro are 3 things. 1, this rail is twice the width of the original one. Second is that the bed surface is removable. So on the original it's just stuck down to the heated bed, and on this one it peels off, which is nice. And third is this, which is the power supply. And on this one, this is a Meanwell unit, although I can't see Meanwell actually labelled on it anywhere. But apparently this is a high quality Meanwell unit as opposed to the slightly suspicious original. So, reduced... Oh! Did you see that? Did I capture that? That was pretty good. Assuming the table is flat, yeah, I mean, maybe the table isn't 100% flat, but it's flat enough. It's a pretty thick, this is definitely not right. There's no way that's going there. What? Oh, 2 of those and 2. Oh. What's the other ones then? Well, that's an error in the instructions, isn't it, dear sir? Here. It says use 2 of these screws, and then suddenly you start using them and you need 2 here and 2 of these, but these are not labelled in here. So how am I supposed to know? Unless I'm being really blind, 2 of those does not turn into 4 of those. Anyway, let's just make sure that this power supply is set to the right voltage. 230 volts. Yep, just in there. So that's fine. Gonna have to assume... Oh. Assume the length of those screws, M4 by 20, maybe. I really have no idea now. These are socket cap screws, M5 by 25. No idea. It doesn't tell you what they are, so... Moving the plant? I don't know what you mean. The plant has to remain, you have to have... Being a YouTuber, you're required to have an IKEA plant, as far as I understand. So, it's going to have to stay. This is... No, that doesn't seem too bad. Although this is weird, because that's... That does float. I thought they used this as a brace, like they did on the Mark III, but they actually don't. Come on. That's that jobby. Next, step 3. Do a thing. The thing about the plant is that it's totally plastic, so it literally doesn't matter if it drops anywhere. This is why I have a plant. It's like, it's really easy to take care of because you just have to do nothing. Step 3. There must be more. Ah, yes, there's a whole second side. Step 3, the end stop. Is this any different? Oh, while we're pointing out things that are different, I had to point out the thing on the side. Obviously, the front is different. Obviously, one thing is twice the width, so you know about that. But the actual wheel that they use is different. So in the original, obviously, there's a gap in the middle because it's single rail, so you can put the belt through the slot. In this one, it's right on top in the middle. So the belt goes through the thing, and then it comes out onto a smaller pulley, goes up on the top. So there's that, which is different. Oh, I get myself a new acupuncture needle. Yay. Da-da-da. I might have to go. I'm actually cooking a roast chicken at the same time as doing this, so I might have to nip off and check that in a moment. 8 minutes. Should be able to get done. So, what? So it's end stop. I'm pretty sure that goes this side. Yeah. Just taking some notes. So this goes on here. These are never easy to line up. Let's go like that. Ah, so that's different. Oh no, it's not. No, it was there before. I just didn't know about it. I'll set that into a position at some point, but not right now. Does the bed size or bed volume differ from the non-pro? I'm pretty sure it's the same. If I can take this, here. Yeah, it's the same. I mean, this bed is actually, this wobbly thing is actually slightly bigger than the bed by like 1 or 2 mil on each side. But for all intents and purposes, the print volume is the same. Step numero 4. It'd be interesting to see if they fixed this. So in the original, the Z-axis motor doesn't. Let's go back to the wide. In the original, the Z-axis motor, when you mount it to the back, doesn't line up properly with the mount in here. Hopefully you can see that. You see where the motor is down here and the lead screw comes up and then it mounts in here and then it carries on up here. This doesn't align properly with the motor, so when you tighten it down and the thing goes down, it kind of wedges in, kind of screeches to a halt as the angles are all wrong. So I've put a spacer, I think, yeah, it's a single M5 washer, which is I think 1 millimeter thick. So I put that in there, spaces it out, and then it lines up nicely. It's not perfect, but it's much better than it was originally. But it looks like that hasn't been fixed. It looks exactly the same as before. Unless, I mean, they've kept the motor the same and changed the steel plate, which is possible. So it'd be interesting to know if that's fixed. I'm pretty sure the control board is the same. I will double check that later on. Remind me later though, because I'll probably forget. But I'll check when the assembly is finished. What are we screwing this with? Some countersunk screws. The only countersunk screws probably. And 4x18. This is the only downside of little bags that you have. Wow. Screws. Well, at least if you forget, then it doesn't matter that I haven't answered you. But if I forget, then you'll be upset that I've not answered you. Well, not necessarily upset, but I will feel like I let you down if you remembered and I didn't. But if you don't remember, this is just confusing how I've confused myself. Let's just have a quick look what tools are in here. So, some spanners and Allen keys, set of zip ties, and a cardboard box. Some more of these. These actually, I mean, they are a bit rubbish, but I do actually use them quite a lot. Because they're cheap and fairly rubbish, you can like use them for doing stuff that you're not supposed to do with the tool like that, as long as you don't stab yourself with them, like by accident by doing that. But like, they're actually, I mean, they're not great. I wouldn't buy them, but they're not useless. Wrong thing. These are actually nicer than before. They're all straight by the looks of it. Yeah, doing this totally so you can't see. Yep, nailed that camera angle. Oh, come on. Oh yes, the build volume is the same as well, the height is the same height. Right, next step. The next step is the lead screw. I do really like how they package this, because it allows, well, presumably they've lubricated the lead screw. It is lubricated, I can feel it on my fingers. I can feel it in my bones. Nice. Can tighten it with the Allen key that I've just lost. Actually, no, I'm not going to do it like that because I need to move the whole thing up and down. Ah, it is the same board. Yeah, I thought it probably would be. I mean, they've no real reason to change board because it'd be nice for everyone else, but if it works for them, it would be unlikely for them to change something like that. Step 5. So now we're on to like the extrudery, the X-axis gantry assembly sort of thing, and I'll point out the next change. Let's go close up. So this is a nice Baron coupling exit thing, which, oh, okay, well that apparently existed before, but I don't remember it. Ignore me. Yeah, this is the same. Okay, well I thought that wasn't there, but apparently it is, so yeah. Right. How do we assemble this? 2020. One of these. Which one? This one? That. Yes. Oh, but it doesn't really tell you which way round it goes. I think it's that way. And then this goes somehow on here. Why am I not just cheating? Let's just do this. That goes there, that goes there. Oh, that's a gap in there, and then that goes on there. Yes, I remember. So now I need some screws. And 4x16 with washers. And 4x16. It's really weird how they have like some button heads, some cap heads, some black, some bright zinc plated. So in every single place they use a different type of screw. I suppose it makes it easier for people that don't know their screws to identify it's the round top ones for here and it's the square top ones for here sort of thing. But it would be quite nice if they were kind of consistent. Ooh, my alarm's going. And now my alarm's going. I will be back in a couple of moments while I check on my roast chicken. I shan't be long. All sorted. Chicken is cooked. Okay, so where were we? Getting these screws in here. This is a pain. Why do they do the angles you need to get in to assemble some of this stuff? It's pretty ludicrous. Pretty sure this is right. Yeah. There must be an easy way to do this. Come on. This is ridiculous. I've even done it before and I can't do it. I can't locate it for some reason. Oh, there. I think we've got it. There, we've got it. Oh, come on. Is that in? That's in. Right, let's get the other side in. Is that right? That seems, oh, it's really right on the end. Yeah, that's a bit close, isn't it? I've done it. So just so you can see what I've done there, and why it was so difficult. That is the angle I've got to get in. So the thing comes through the top here through some holes, Allen key, and then the screws here, the plates here, and it threads into this. So yeah, not the easiest thing to do. I think we're pretty much there now. Right. Where are we going next? It's like a club now. A 3D printer club. Next is a couple of tube fitting thing. Let's get this spiky thing out of the way before I stab myself with it by accident. Ooh, spare nozzle. I wonder if the last one came with a spare nozzle. I really wish more printers came with spare nozzles. It'd be nice if all the printers that came with E3D V6s came with a spare nozzle, because then you'd have just like a collection of spare nozzles. That would be really quite good. But alas, we don't. I remember Maker's News complaining about these PTFE tube fittings, and I'm guessing that he had a version before my original Ender 3, because this is the same as those and both have been absolutely fine for me, so this is good. Do not use the carriage as a weapon or tool for driving nails in a wall. Definitely. I mean, it's pretty tempting. It's just those two stepper motors on the ender. I can use it as a hammer. Maybe not. 5, 6. Step numero 6 needs this and this. So there's so many changes on this. By that I mean 1. A whole change. Close up. There you go. It's got this little silicone sock on it. Is it going to focus on it? Probably not. Focus please, maybe? Anytime today. You can probably see it. That black sock on the end, I could take it off. There you go. Ooh! Does that look? Yeah, so the old one uses the standard kind of, that cotton stuff. I can't remember what it's made out of, but it's cotton. You know, the cotton looking thing with the capped on tape round it that holds itself onto the thing. That silicone sock actually holds itself on better than the E3D one. Just saying. So how does this go on? Let's check the old printer. It goes on like this. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. I do really like the way these things feel. I could do this all day. It's so smooth. It seems like they've set them really good distance as well, because I don't think I'm going to need to change that. There's no compliance / wobble at all. Very nicely done. I've got to get this on somehow. This is the back, so turn it round. I'm going to see if I can move this a little bit closer down here. I'm probably just going to end up moving the camera into a place that just becomes super in the way, but hopefully you'll be able to see a bit better. Close up. There we go. How about that? Unfortunately the lights are now on the other side, so 3D printing ASMR. I think it's unlikely. I think it will have trouble catching on. So I think this will go on here with a couple more of these. Ouch. Warning, sharp. Not suitable for young children up to the age of 26. I mean, I had this screwdriver so I could. It's the wrong size, and that's the smallest bit I've got. So using the Allen key. Houston, we have a problem. So I'm doing this one a bit. There we go. Get these nice and tight. Right. You'd think I'd be really quick at this, having done one before, but it seems like I'm just as slow as last time. Don't even know. We're going 45 minutes and I'm still not done. Right. Engage brain, and next step. Step 7, the belt. Where's the belt? No, here it is. What are we going to do today, brain? Same as we do every day. Try to take over the world. Something like that. This way. Which way over does it go? It's got to go that way. So that goes. So the cost difference. Oh, I should have put that in the other way up. The Ender 3 Pro cost me $167 because I got it on Amazon yesterday or the day before, and they had an offer. But normally it's like $210, whereas the Ender 3 non-Pro basic version is in the region of $120, $130, I think. Sorry, I should probably have some better information than that, but it's about £60 difference, and I'd say it's worth some of that. I don't know if I recommend it yet because I've not used it enough. I will have some recommendations eventually. I like how the instructions are just like, put the belt on, it goes around here, and then it's actually nearly impossible to actually do. We're in. It's actually quite heavy to hold that thing up. Right. We're on. Belt is in. This engagement thing at the bottom has always amused me. I mean, look at it, for goodness sake. Like it just slides on and does nothing else. Yet never comes off. It's pretty cool. There's nothing really holding it on. It's just, if it was off being perpendicular by just a few degrees, then they would have huge problems, I'm sure, but it doesn't, so this is good. Let's get this in here. I mean, I'm not even looking at the instructions, I'm just assuming this is what the next thing to do is, because I remember doing this before. That doesn't work very well. That one's worked. Sorry, that's probably a bit loud. Change out the extruder for a McEwen unit. I'm not even familiar with McEwen. I mean, I was tempted to get a 24 volt E3D V6 with a Titan maybe, and go maybe direct drive. I don't know if I do prefer direct drive over Bowden setups, but it's not the biggest. It's not the end of the world. Usually, I only really use my Ender 3 for PLA anyway, so generally it's not a big deal. Do that, put that in there, tighten it. I think that's probably sufficiently tight. It doesn't line up that well. I think it's good enough. Nice. Let me just check that link. Oh, it's not gonna. Oh, that's not a particularly special extruder. Oh, just the extruder gear. This one looks a bit round actually compared. I know. I mean, obviously the whole gear itself is round, but the teeth look a bit blunt. No, I mean, I've not had any problems pushing filament. Again, mostly PLA on the Ender 3. I print the high temperature stuff on my Prusa. I'm pretty sure the standard Ender 3 doesn't have a meanwhile power supply, does it? It has the standard one just has a generic power supply. it's 24 volts. I'm pretty sure they're both 24 volts. They must be. It's the same system. But I don't think the original one was Meanwell. The McEwen extruder gear assembly is close tolerance for feeding flexible filaments. Yeah, I suppose if you're doing flexibles, that's a pretty good idea. So that's step 8. There is another bit. Step 9. Untighten the titans. Let's just make a mess. I can't be bothered to. There we go. Problem sorted. Now things are accessible. Oh, that's too small. Well, which one is it then? There we go. Oh, blooming hell. Done these up proper tight. I mean, this should move, presumably, when I get that loose. Not a lot, but just a little bit. There's a tiny bit of movement there, but not a lot. Hopefully that's going to be sufficient. So let's go wide. Now we just need to lift this up here and just carefully place it on yeah, this is miles off again. You know what I was saying earlier about the they've not fixed this. Let me just bring this in here. Unless I'm doing it wrong, you'll probably see on that camera angle there, this gap up here is much bigger than this one down here, because the top thing doesn't line up properly. Let's right, we need to sort that out because that's not right. Not having much luck here. These eccentric nuts don't seem to be very... What is not right here? Something is not right. Because it's not going on. Let's just loosen this a bit. Ah, the special edition. It would be good. I mean, the high quality power supply doesn't go on. What the hell? Is one of my major reasons for getting the Pro version. Is it because it's... Oh, you idiot, Adam. There we go. What it... Helps if you put it on square, doesn't it? What it is. Right. Let's get this in here. This is so greasy, it's ridiculous. Come on, go down please. Wow, that's super bent. Okay, let's get this in here. I'm probably going to do the whole washer spacing off thing before I start any print, because it seems like a good idea. I hate the QR code. I'm just going to take it off right now, because I took totally unnecessary QR code. Gone. I don't even know. I think it's a QR code for their Facebook page or something. I don't even like this sticker on here. Let's get rid of this one as well. There we go. Nice and black. Much better. Right. What have we not done? The top. This thing. On there. Go. And 5 for 25s. Get up the right way. Is this the right one? No, that's definitely not the right one. It's quite good, this wide angle camera, because it means I don't have to tilt it up and down. But it does still make me off the top of the screen. Could be worse. At least you can see the printer. That's interesting. I was right, it still is off. Oh yeah, on there it looks really not square. Let me stand back and have a look. Yeah, it's pretty square. It looks, yeah, it's just the camera that's making it look really not square. Does that look a bit more? Yeah, I think because the camera's got a really wide field of view. The camera is like at this level. You can probably see that just as well as I can. But yeah, because the field of view is wide, it's all kind of a bit strange. It might be alright. Cool. So what have we got to do next? Some end caps. I haven't even seen those. Single end caps. Let's get rid of all the plastic bags that we... Empty bag, empty bag, empty bag. Empty bag. Cool. Not much left. That'll do. I'm pretty sure that's what that tool is designed for. Said nobody ever. Why does this little wire come out here? Oh, it's the Z end stop one. Right, I think now is the... Oh no, no wiring yet. First we've got to put the amazing spool holder on. Seems to be missing a bit. This is different as well. It's not the world's most incredible invention, but it is different. I think... Ooh, now, let's get it close up. So it's just kind of has this weird kind of lock-in mechanism on it. So presumably it's just going to go up into here. And see, the good thing about the last one is that it jammed up against the wall, so you could turn it to tighten it. Right, that's that. Couple of screws, couple of hammer nuts. These are like the world's toughest plastic bags. This one goes on this way. Where's the screw diddler? Wrong thing is. That's that on there. Oh, let's call that stuck. And that's still stuck as well. Right. Spool holder. Done. I think I do this the opposite way to how they tell you to do it. Yeah. If you do it the way they tell you to do it, in the instructions. Oh. Close up. And this bit here. So they've actually not changed the instructions for that, but the way round they tell you put it, you lose some of the distance on the shaft by having the bend come around that way. So I just flip this bracket piece around, and then you get the full length of the spool holder out one side, which means you can hold the wider spools. A little bit of information for you. Right, now it's just step 12. Well, at least they will hold the screws. Most bags I get from eBay tend to drop. So the bag box is shipped in, especially. Yeah. Personally, I wouldn't buy screws or nuts from eBay. I tend to just buy like 500 or 1,000 from actual screw and fastener suppliers. They're not very expensive, and I know I'm going to use a whole load of them. So the only time I get specific numbers of screws is when it's in a kit, and they give you the exact number you need. So now let's do some wiring. Don't think we're going to need that yet, or anymore. And close up. Of course, got my fire extinguisher just in case. Can't be too careful when you've got Creality printers around. Right. So, well, this obviously goes to this. Let's get that. Oh, it comes out of there a bit of a mess, doesn't it? Let's move that out of there. That comes to there. That needs to go over there. That goes to the screen. XT60 connector. It's good to still they're still using those. Oh, that's tough. They're slightly different this time. Oh, that's hard to get in. Okay, but it's in. One thing down. Yeah, the magnetic bed is a bit of a limit, but I didn't particularly buy it for the magnetic bed. I mean, it's nice that it's removable. I might even remove the whole magnetic thing and just get some spring steel stuff. It's just so Extruder. They're all labelled, which is quite nice. X-axis. I think I might need to put that there. And then this is the pin stop. Where's that gone? Oh yes, it's right in there, I remember. Oh, you, come on. Oh, shit. Excuse my language. Okay, I think that's... Is that how that's meant to be? Oh, my one's tucked all around nicely and tidily. I'll do that another time. That's good enough. That's for that. Right around here. So you've got this connector that comes out the bottom and is all round in here. And that goes just... Ooh, that is a bit not the easiest thing to do. Come on. It's barely long enough, this cable. Just right. There we go. Now Z-axis. Extruder, that can just go in there, I think that will do. Extruder, X, XT60, Z I did, EXP3. For the screen. It's tilted. That's that on there. I wonder if they've changed their firmware at all and enabled the safety features. I don't think I'll check that now, but if I do a full review, then I'll let you know then. Will the spring steel hold firm on this bed? Let's just get a thing. I mean, spring steel, although is useful when it's magnetic, you don't necessarily have to use spring steel holds. So again, you'll still have that temperature limitation, and if you can't use a Prussian Mark III, oh, you can use a Mark, yeah, you can use the bed sideways. You can fit your Mark III bed on your Creality printer. In theory, that slightly increases your build volume if you're printing low temperature. Yeah, that's pretty nifty, isn't it? In fact, that doesn't increase your print volume because the nozzle can't get there. Anyway, ignore me, I'm just being silly. It's obviously late. So yeah, that fits. Does this? That's really weird. Sorry, I'm being late. Yeah, anyway. I do like having flexible beds. As long as there's some form of flexible bed, then I'm happy. Just non-flexible things, just why would you bother? Ooh, that looks a bit... I reckon the reason they did this is because it's one less different part. So this part is probably exactly the same as these two legs. So like, why should we bother cutting a different one when we could just cut 3 of exactly the same thing? Maybe this is probably even mostly the same as well. So they're just reducing their manufacturing costs by having more similar parts. Right, we appear to have finished. The build is done. Right. What we need to do now is get this SD card out and put the thing on it. I have a print ready set up to go, and we'll hopefully try and get this one across at the same time after all the bed leveling and stuff. But I think we'll be pretty good to go. Get the data from here. Copy that. Oh gosh, there's so much crap on there. Whatever. User guide, troubleshooting, installing. Yeah, no thanks. Remember to plug in the end stop. I think I did. I haven't set the right height for the end stop. I'm pretty sure I plugged in the end stop. Which end stop have I not done? X, that's Y. Y is done. Z, oh, you're right. Thank you. Done. Have I missed anything else? I'm sure we'll find out soon enough when I start trying to print stuff. Right, let's move this out of the way. Oh, upside down now. That's in. We need some power. Do I use the suspicious Chinese cable, or do I... Yeah, screw it. It's nearly Christmas, it's fine. Alright, let's get this in here. This is the world's shortest power cable. Dragon, I fish it. Z, yeah, Z and stop, right. I suppose I should power it on. It seems quieter than the last one. That's really quiet. Because on here you can see these yellow... You probably can't actually do that. Can you see that? There's like these yellow bits here because I took the whole assembly apart and put in these kind of dampers for the fan to stop it being quite so noisy. Right, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. The difference between the Pro and the non-Pro is 3 things. The width of the rail, 2, the bed being magnetic, and 3, the power supply. The power supply is a Meanwhile, high quality power supply. So let's get this over here. Do I need that? Not really. Ooh. Don't do that. Right. I'm going to actually come around here. I might get in the way a bit, so apologies for that. I'm going to prepare preheat PLA. Now it's definitely the time to get that out of the way. So I've got some, I'm not going to use the NAF sample PLA that came with it. I've got some sealed bags of PLA here. This one will have blue. This one will have purple. Lovely. Also found at the bottom of control box. Oh yes. See, it's weird because they like sell it as being 3 different things. But I mean, this gear's different, the mount at the back is different. What else was different? Well, the fan is almost certainly different because that's significantly quieter. There's 4 screws in the sides instead of 2, so that's different. I need a drink. It's just water. I need a power cable. I could probably not be more in the way right now. So this one uses the TH3D firmware, just because it was a suitable one at the time. It was pretty good, so I just used that. So I much prefer the display on this. This is so cluttered. Oh, the flipping Jesus. Temperature, nozzle. Oh, that's quick. 209, let's go. Third. 57. Store memory, load memory. Also, presumably store memory, load memory is EEPROM. I'm totally in the way and you can't see anything. So, yeah, sorry about that. But it's definitely different. How different it is whole different ball game. PLA. There is a slightly suspicious smell coming from this, but I'm going to assume it's just that first heat up smell rather than anything. It does smell a bit weird, but hopefully it's nothing major. They've not fixed that issue where it's difficult to get filament in. Let's do that, hopefully that'll go in. There we go, easy peasy. Probably should have levelled it before I started putting. Let's cut that back a bit. Never use your fingers. Do as I say, not as I do. There's a nasty lump on there. it's black. This is weird. Is it fucking... No, it is coming now. Right. So we'll start with the home. I hope it doesn't break anything. Now I'm going to disable the stepper motors, if I can find the option. That will allow me to move this manually, make the whole process a little bit quicker. That's about right. This is way too tight. That's about right. Cool. I think this is not the best, which is why it's not working so well. Let's make a quick adjustment to that. That's a bit better. So I can't see any comments at the moment, so no, this is basically loose now. I think the Z's gone up, isn't it? Fine. Yep. Yeah, there's a steep angle on this one down from one side to the other. So, I mean, that's probably just to do with setting the eccentric wheels just right. So I'll fix that another time. I think it should be okay for the rest of the moment. That seems about right. That seems good, so let's do another quick. Right, let's just check the middle. Right, that's too high now in the middle. So that goes in there. Up. Can you actually see it? Yeah, you can. Up. Up. Too much. Down. Down. That's probably about right. Let's just double check this one. This is probably fine. back at home. So we should have, yep, that's ready to go. No idea what the settings are going to be on that printer, so it could be all over the shop. You can probably hear how much louder that one is. Just going to do this again. I'm going to use the level corners. This has a nice level corners feature which will circle around the corners but keep the power to the motors, which will stop it springing back up. Level corners. Oh, that's miles off. Oh, no, okay. Let's just control pair, the axis, X. So I'm just going to move this to the center because I'm pretty sure the overall position on here is fairly good as it is. Let's just make sure that, because it's a tiny print, so it doesn't have to be super level. But it just probably will have moved slightly since I have moved the bed. That feels about right. Right, let's go for broke and hope it works. Just going to check the comments quickly just in case somebody's pointed out something that I've missed. Yeah, they're both one lead screw. Fundamentally, main design is the same. Right, so although they're at slightly different temperatures, let's start the print at the same time. Print from SD card. Print from SD card. Print calicat. Now they're both heating up to 215. This one should get there first, although the PID is terrible, so it's going to overshoot massively. Wow, 218. Although in fairness, that one did 218 as well. This one's going to start first. So it does a little prime line like it does on the pusher. Although I haven't loaded the filament properly, so it's not going to work. There we go, bit of a splodgy start. We're loaded properly there. Oh, that doesn't look too good. There's a bit of a lump in the middle. Let's hope that's going to be okay. Right. This one is making. This one skipped steps on the axis already. So that's not a great start. This one has not the best start. My Z leveling was a bit rushed. But they are both going. So it's not total failure. Be interesting to see what comes out. Probably some of the worst prints I've ever done. Yeah, this is a massive splodgy mess. There's basically no filament coming out of this nozzle for some reason. Heat creep, that's why. So this one had the skip steps at the beginning, but it seems to be okay-ish now. It does seem to be over extruding quite a lot. It's a bit of a splodgy mess. Interestingly, they got the power supply going the right way, the power supply fan, because it's supposed to blow in, and on this one I'm pretty sure it's blowing out. So they put the fan around the wrong way on this one. It should blow down into the enclosure and blow it out rather than suck it through. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to. An hour and 40 minutes. That's not too bad for build and setting up the print to start. I did rush the leveling somewhat, but we got there. Oh, this is looking splodgy. Yeah, massive over extrusion on there. This one is just, for some reason, totally failing. It's been printing PLA absolutely perfectly for literally like all week, and now it just doesn't really want to extrude anything. It needs PLA. Typical, isn't it? Yeah, it's totally jammed up. Another function. Oh, there you go. What is that? That is just broken AF. Doesn't seem to... Yeah, it skips steps, and it's... I mean, I can stop it easily with fingers, so whatever it's doing, it's not right. I think it might have been a loose connection. Either way, that's totally ruined. This is starting to extrude properly now. It's a bit too late to recover it. Shall I just leave it and watch it fail? No, I think the wiring here, because as soon as I gripped this and sort of pushed it in, it was fine. Either it wasn't probably pushed in or something, I don't know. But no, it's mechanically, I think it's fine. Oh, that belt is very loose. I could have sworn I called it tight. Where is me? I don't even know which fucking Allen key it is now. Yeah, I think it was, you're right, it was skipping teeth on the thing, because now when I... It's pretty weak. I'm not sure quite what's going on there. But I think I'm going to stop it before it totally smothers itself in melty plastic. Please do the... No, it's not going to do the raising. I'm going to have to do that manually. Glasses. 1mm. Oopsie. I wouldn't recommend doing this with your fingers because it's hot and you get oil all over the thing. That was incredibly stuck. Sorry, I think I just kicked the camera. Well, that's broken. The bed appears to be kinked. Oh, that seems to have fixed it. Strange. Let's go down slightly. Just going to restart that. I'm pretty sure the main thing was just that filament and that. So that one should be okay. That one's going to carry on. When this starts, I'm going to change the temperature down a bit, please. I think the problem is the settings I had it for were not for the rigid ink PLA, which generally prints cooler than everything else. So. What the? How the hell could that happen? Why is it printing all the way over there? Right, I give up. Clearly that's going to need some a bit of attention before it's going to print well. I don't think it's going to be any news to see that printer print. It's just an Ender 3 that had a really dodgy start. It's not going to be anything special. I can leave it printing if you want to, but I'm not sure anyone's going to learn anything from watching that. It didn't home. Which tells me all the Z triggers are all messed up. The end stops, maybe they're all... If it didn't home, then maybe they're all immediately homing, if you see what I mean. I'll fix it, but I'm hungry and tired and I don't want to fix it now. And that looks like it's just smushed it into the bed nicely, so that's going to be nice and difficult to get rid of. Excellent. All in all, I think I'm going to call it there. Derek, you're just in time for the end of the stream. I'm literally just about to say goodbye because I don't think I can be bothered to fiddle around getting this working right now. It was pretty much there, but not. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's not going to be anything that complicated, but anyway, thank you everyone very much for watching. I'm going to go now and probably just leave this running, maybe mute the mic or whatever, and you can just watch the print finish, and hopefully I'll come back and have a look when it's done. Maybe I'll just get some food or something. But for all intents and purposes, the stream is now over, although it will remain live for a bit. You can finish this. Did I already say thank you for watching? Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming to enjoy the stream with me. It's been pretty good fun. Nice to have another live stream that I've not done in a very long time. I am actually planning another one for probably in the new year, sometime in January, probably early January, which will be another printer. Probably not much of a build, as I think it's going to become mostly assembled. There's also some other super interesting stuff coming to the channel. Something also very much sort of like one of these, but maybe better. So yes, I know there's not been a video up in about a month, so I do apologise for that as well. I have edited one today, so it's ready to go up, but I probably won't do it till next week now, as I've done this kind of instead. That will finish off end of next week, and then I'll have a kind of, I'm hoping to have a kind of YouTube channel summary, because it has been a really good year for CRT. There's been some great stuff going on. We've had events and all that sort of stuff, and growth and new people and Patreon, and there's so much stuff that's gone on this year, and I just want to kind of celebrate that in a video. So that'll be all sorts of fun. But for now, I shall leave you watching the old Ender 3 ploughing through this last print. Last print? It's not. I'm not going to disassemble it afterwards. Disassemble? Anyway, I'm done. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you sometime in the future.